All right, let's get going. Here we go. Hello and welcome into the Knicks-Verse Live. Our first live show of the 2023-24 season. My name is George, and if this is your first time here and you haven't subscribed yet, please do so. And if you've been here before but haven't subscribed yet, also please do so. And turn on a notification bell so you are alerted when I actually go live or I drop a new video. Keep in tune because this is going to be an incredibly exciting season. I believe this team, if they match the keys to success, which I'm going to lay out, I believe this team could do very, very well this season. But you know what? But they're opening against one of the two best teams in the NBA right now. Well, definitely one of the four best teams in the NBA, but one of the two best in the Eastern Conference, and it's the Boston Celtics. But they're doing it at MSG. The Knicks, we've done well versus the Celtics. We match up well with them. Of course, they made a big move this summer. They traded away Marcus Smart and got Kristaps Porzingis. And then they continued to make trades, and they brought in Drew Holiday via the Portland Trailblazers from the Milwaukee Bucks. When the Bucks basically added a lethal weapon, Damian Lillard themselves, which is why, even though they were already probably two of the favorites anyway in the Eastern Conference, they pushed themselves like almost another tier above. The question is, where are the Knicks in this level? But I want to begin with a few things. All right, here we go. This is like the very first season where I truly believe if everything goes right for the Knicks, enough goes right. Let's put it that way. Enough goes right. Not everything has to go right, but enough goes right. And when I say that, within the sphere of probability, enough can go right for these Knicks. And I'll break it down. The first thing is Jalen Brunson, second full season as a starting point guard for the New York Knicks. Last season was outstanding. Probably should have been an all-star. He will probably have a better season this year. That's right. So he will improve upon that. What else is happening? I hope it's all streaming okay. Just let me know if there's any streaming issues. Next is Julius Randle. There's something, he looks calmer. He looks much more content with life. I think all that work, all that Zen work he did last year and throughout the season has actually become a part of who he is now. And that is a wonderful thing. And I'm going to tell you, I'm going to predict it right off the bat right now. There is a chance if enough goes right for the Knicks that Julius Randle could become a legit MVP candidate. That's right. You're hearing it from here. From the man who, over the years, I've requested to have him traded for many different reasons, and they were all valid, by the way. But I never doubted his talent. It was more up here and in here. Those two things seem right on point. He could end up having a career year, which is saying something, because he's already had one of the very best Knicks seasons, seasons any Knick has ever had, ever. He may be able to improve on that. So those two things happen. This team is a legit top 4 Eastern Conference team. I don't see more than one other team pushing the Knicks out of that 4th spot. Not Cleveland, not Miami, not the Sixers. Just don't see it. If the Knicks, big two, Brunson and Randle, both make a legit run for all-star selections. Basically, and it's totally within their wheelhouse because they are young. They're just entering their prime. Brunson's barely entering his prime. Randle's at the beginning part of his prime. I'm sensing career years here. Now, it puts a lot of pressure. Puts a lot of pressure on the coach. Puts a lot of pressure on the team itself. And last season, one of the major issues was defense. The offense was there. In fact, one of the highest offensive ratings in the history of the NBA. Even though they were third best last season. I think it was overall the fourth or fifth best that's ever happened. So that just shows you scoring is not an issue for this team, especially for those starters. But it's defense. There are some weaknesses in the defensive armor, and we'll break that all down. Let's get into it, man. Let's get into it. There's a couple other key things, but I'm gonna go through them as we break this down. Here are the keys to success for the 2023-24 season for the New York Knicks. All right, first one, they got to stay healthy, and that's something that's totally within their wheelhouse. They are a very durable team. RJ, incredibly durable. Randall, even though he did suffer the ankle injury towards the end of the season and may have impacted him more so in the playoffs than just his regular issues with, performing in the playoffs. I think the ankle may have actually really impeded him because he did have some nice moments here and there. Then, well, RJ Barrett, of course. But he's a very healthy guy. Brunson plays a lot of minutes. He's constantly hitting the floor. I'm a little concerned, but he's stocky and he's durable as well. We got some durable guys on this team, but there's also guys that are, hit the hardwood often, like Mitch Robinson. Brunson, Josh Hart, all those guys. Their butts are constantly, sliding across that hardwood floor. So let's hope that we stay healthy. That's the key, and that's the key for any team, obviously. You always have to start with that, especially in today's world. Repeat or improve, and I actually already touched upon that. Randall and Brunson need to at least repeat the performance that they gave us last season or improve upon it, and I'm telling you, I think the odds are in favor of them improving upon last season. That's right. For one, Randall's three-point shooting percentage, I think there's room for him to grow there. There's room for him to grow. He's a very good three-point shooter, and we've seen it in the past. And Brunson as well. I think Brunson needs to take a few more threes. And repeat or improves. And that's, look, if we run down the rest of the roster, we got a bunch of young guys who are, it's very legitimately, you can very legitimately say they can all improve on what they have already given us, which what they've already given us has led to a second round performance. So imagine that. Imagine Grimes, RJ, Mitch Robinson, Emmanuel Quickley, even Deuce when he finally gets out there, Jericho, all those young guys improving on what they did last season. And then you have Josh Hart and Dante DiVincenzo and Isaiah Hartenstein, who's also a young guy, Isaiah Hartenstein. Those guys are professionals. They're hustlers, especially the Villanova boys. They're just tenacious. Josh Hart gives you everything he's got, and we are going to have him for a full season. We only had him for less than half a season last year, and the impact he made was tremendous. But now we have Dante DiVincenzo, his NCAA championship partner with Brunson. And he's going to give us that three-point shooting that that consistent three-point shooting that we desperately need, especially in that second unit. And both these guys play both sides of the ball. So in that respect, I feel very good about key number 2. Key number 3, this one is a big one. We have to tighten the perimeter defense, especially versus three-point shooting bigs in this league. And tonight we're going to see one. We're going to see two of the very best, Kristaps Porzingis and Al Horford. How we perform against them is going to give us an indication of whether this team can actually win this game. If we were somehow able to keep them below their season averages, that's a win. We have to figure out, tighten that up. It also combines with this other key point, which is on the next slide, but I'll get into that. The next thing here is more steals. As a whole, the team, and I'm really looking mostly at the first unit. I'm looking because Grimes is he provides a lot of that. Very active hands. His defense is outstanding, and he's able to poke the ball out, creates a lot of disruption, creates turnovers. but I want to see more steals from the big three: Brunson, Barrett, and Randall. Those three all have to, like, as a group together, if they could increase their steals per game by, let's say, even just one. As a group, those three, I would prefer it to be at least 1.5 per game. That is going to help a lot, especially for Jalen Brunson, because defensively, he is a liability. He is a liability defensively, and one of the ways that he can make up for that is to cause turnovers, whether that is clogging passing lanes, poking the ball out, helping out on the weak side when the offensive player has a blind side. Try to do that, but you can't overdo it because you get caught and then you're screwed. So that is a key aspect for the Knicks that's going to help with the defense overall. Now let's get to the next one here. Here we go. Now this also ties into the Titan perimeter defense versus bigs, which is solve the size issue in the second unit. We are smaller now without Obi. That is a fact, and nobody's been brought in to replace Obi. I know people say, oh, Dante DiVincenzo, but not really. He's a very different kind of player. So we are going to have to see whether Thibs can come up with some wizardry to solve this lack of size issue, whether he ends up going with RJ at the 4 for those minutes with that second unit, or whether he just goes with Jericho Sims, or he discovers a new wrinkle. We shall see. Or if it's an issue that cannot be solved, I hope that Leon Rose doesn't wait too long and he makes a move to bring in somebody there if it does become an issue. If it starts costing us games, I hope that Leon doesn't wait all the way to the trade deadline. By that point, the season is like, it's almost 60% done. So we must solve this lack of size issue, especially in the second unit. The next thing is, and it's probably the number one thing when it comes to this whole team itself, because in New York, there's a lot of pressure. Playing for Thibs, it's a lot of pressure. And just in general, the player's own desire to succeed can create so much pressure that it could really disrupt chemistry and disrupt people's mental preparation and attitude towards every moment, because every moment counts right now, especially when you are a team like this that had some success last season and you want to build upon it. You don't want a regression. So maintaining composure, and I'm talking mostly to Julius Randle, but like I started out in the show saying, I really do believe he has crossed over and made that the new Zen version of himself a part of his core essence. Of course, he's still passionate. He still wants to win. He's competitive. There's going to be moments. There's going to be texts here and there. But what we don't want to see is, those chemistry disrupting outbursts, even when he's even pushing his own teammates away that are trying to help him be more composed. Now, having Jalen Brunson on this team definitely does help that. It helped him last season. So I believe that that's going to be something that's within all these keys are well within their potentiality. They don't have to like suddenly become a different kind of team to do this type of stuff. And the next one is seek out hockey assists. And that means ball movement, less dribbling, keep the ball moving. You see the teams that win, the teams that succeed, the Denvers, that's one of the reasons the Celtics didn't get there last season. The Miamis, the Denvers, they move the ball. They don't just drive, find the open guy, and then boom, it's a bucket. No, they move, they drive, they penetrate, find the open guy. That guy finds the next guy who is even more wide open. And sometimes a guy cuts, then that guy finds that guy cutting, and then they get the easiest bucket possible, and even an and one. Keep that ball moving. More assists, more hockey assists, meaning, you don't get the credit necessarily by passing up a somewhat marginal shot for a better look for your teammate. Trust each other. You all win and lose together. That is going to be a very important thing for these Knicks. And lastly, whoever is starting at the 2 spot for this team, the Knicks, has to be a lethal 3-point sniper. Quentin Grimes looks like he's that. He showed it to us in the preseason. 7 of 12 in one game. We've seen him do it regular season. He can be one of the top 10 3-point shooters in this game. And the only way he's going to get there is if they feed him. That starting unit keeps feeding him. I don't want to see what I saw in that other game. After he shot 7 for 12, the next night, because all the starters rested except for Grimes in that first game. Then the next night, it was a back-to-back. The next night, he only got 4 shots total in the whole game. 3 shots in the first 3 quarters. That's ridiculous. For a guy who is that hot, no. His teammates need to trust him, need to look for him, make this happen. He is a key because defensively, there's no one better. No one better right now on this team. Well, Emmanuel Quickley, I would say. Emmanuel Quickley is right there with him. We got some good defensive guards, really good defensive guards. Other than Brunson and RJ, who definitely regressed last season defensively. He regressed a lot last season defensively, especially compared to the 2 seasons before. So, but I liked what I saw from him in the playoffs defensively. It's almost like he finally realized where he can really impact in a positive way defensively. His floor positioning was smarter. He wasn't caught out of position. He fought through screens more. I liked what I saw from RJ in the playoffs defensively. So let's hope that carries through into the regular season, because that's the only way. I mean, these Knicks, it's right there for them. I mean, Atlanta looks, they look hungry. They look interesting. Indiana Pacers, with Obi and that whole squad over there, they look interesting too. I mean, if things start clicking, if someone pops here and there on other teams, somebody new could come out and make a run for this, the top 5 spots, top 6 spots. That's exciting. It's exciting to see our guys growing and developing. I just want to see that next evolution. It's a little too much dribbling with this team, a little too much ISO. Want to see the movement, because that's where you really go from being a team that's competent, that can win, to a team who can really dominate. That's what I'm hoping to see. All right. Thank you guys so much for watching this. Again, my name is George. If you're watching this on replay, just drop your comments. Read them all. I really appreciate them. And hit that thumbs up button for me. And subscribe if you haven't yet. And turn on the notification bell. This could be a very exciting season. Very exciting season. In fact, I'm predicting it is. No doubt. And check out the my wins prediction video. You can see all the games, how I looked at them, and I broke it down. It's pretty interesting. I had a lot of fun doing it. Alrighty. I will see you around the Knicks-Verse.